Hello and welcome to the start of another exciting school year here at Pushridge Christian Academy. Just like in the arena of sports where the rules make it so everybody can play fairly, safely, and have fun, we have certain rules here at PRCA, and a few of which we are highlighting for you today.
If you have questions about anything addressed, please refer to the Student Parent Handbook, which has more details about each topic.
You know, we are so excited to get back to school. Let's get going and start looking at our first rule, the start and end times.
That's right. Classes kick off at 8:10 on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Important to note here, fans, we are returning to late start on Thursdays this year, so classes will begin on 8:50 on those days.
And I know there's going to be some changes to the end of day. What can students expect as we start taking down those seconds?
Yeah, students will be released from class every day of the week at 2:55 p.m. That's 5 minutes later than last year. And this is to account for classroom care at the end of the day.
You know, I can't help but think that is going to be a game changer as we put servant leadership into practice this year. You know, it's always good to review those fundamentals. What should students remember as they go about their day here at Pushridge?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You never outgrow the fundamentals. We have a 10-minute passing period between classes. So students should plan on using that time to fill their water bottles, to use the restroom, get any supplies they need for their next classes. To avoid a delay of game, teachers will generally not allow the students to leave class for activities that should be resolved during the passing period.
That's right, we don't use bells to signify the beginning or end of a class. Students should not enter the classroom until greeted by the teacher at the door, and students should not begin packing up their school supplies until given permission by that.
Now, I want to talk just a little bit about absences and tardies. Every player tries to avoid them. Sometimes life gets in the way. You gotta remember, if you're absent, if for any reason a parent or guardian needs to call that front office line by 9 a.m. If the call's not made, the student is gonna need a written note from the parent when they arrive at school.
And after 9 absences, school's going to contact home. If that bumps up to 12 absences in any individual class, a student's looking at a 5% decrease in their score for the entire semester. If that bumps up to 15, they're probably not going to receive credit for that class.
If you know you will be absent, please fill out the required paperwork to ensure all assignments are accounted for. Long-term assignments are due on the designated due date regardless of the student's absence. Any student leaving school early will need a note, a phone call, or an in-person explanation from that parent or guardian.
Yeah, now tardies, they're another important one. Remember that students are expected to be in their seats by the scheduled beginning of class.
Remember, those tardies can really add up. On the 5th tardy per semester, we're looking at a 1-hour detention after school. If that bumps up to 10 tardies in a semester, we're looking at 4 hours detention. Now, if we up to 13, we're talking a 1-day suspension. If we go all the way up to 15 per semester, we're looking at a multi-day suspension, probably 2 days, and we're having a conversation with the family to make sure that we can get here on time.
Now let's talk uniforms. Every team's got them, and for good reason.
Yeah, absolutely. And PRCA is no exception.
Yeah, if a student is out of uniform, they've got to change or correct the issue before getting back in the game. Now we're talking PRCA logos on all shirts. Long pants have to be khaki, black, navy, or gray Dockers, but must have only 4 pockets, a button, and a zipper. Only shorts and skirts purchased from our uniform vendors are permitted.
Now, tell me about rips, frays, holes, cuts. It's a very popular look these days.
Yeah, it's popular, but a PRCA uniform can't have them. That'd be a technical foul. And, rolling shorts, skirts, none of that, either from the top or from the bottom.
And here's a new one this year. All outerwear must have the PRCA logo. This includes jackets, sweatshirts, vests, you name it.
But let's not forget, we got some special teams uniforms, as it were. What about those?
Oh, well, Thursdays continue to be Aloha Thursdays, and official PRCA Aloha shirts, those are permitted. Also, of course, on Fridays, students are allowed to wear any of their PRCA branded spirit wear and jeans.
How about gentlemen's hair?
Well, that facial hair's got to be clean shaven, and their hair can't fall below their eyes or below their collar.
Let's run them through the fouls for these violations. What are we looking at this year?
The refs, they're going to be looking for that every day. For a student's first infraction, it's just going to be a warning, a conversation. We got to make sure we know what's in, what's out. After that, second time, it's going to be a 1-hour detention.
All right.
Third time, 4-hour detention. If we bump up to that 4th infraction, we're looking at a 1-day suspension. Consequences for uniform infractions, those reset at the semester.
All right, now how about the rules on cell phones? You know, people are wild about these light up rectangles. They don't really got a place in the campus, though.
You said it. As a general rule, students are not allowed to use cell phones on campus without permission from a teacher or a PRCA staff member.
Now, students, they can bring them to school, but they need to remain powered off and in their backpacks, in their lockers. Students are not allowed to carry them on their person in their pockets.
Now, what you'll see a lot of the varsity team doing these days is rocking that smartwatch. How do we feel about that?
Using a smartwatch is the same as using a cell phone. But if parents need to reach their student, they gotta call that front office. If students need to reach the parent, use that same front office phone.
That's right. And players gotta remember the consequences for cell phone fouls. They don't reset at semester. Now, what should we remember about these violations?
Yeah, so first time it happens, that student's phone, it's gonna get confiscated and taken to the front office. The parents are gonna have to pick it up. It's the student's job to call the parents to let them know that
Gotta
their
use
phone's
that
been
front
taken.
office phone there.
Yeah, exactly. So the second infraction carries the same weight, except now they're gonna need to either leave that phone at home or turn it into the school office at the beginning of the school day and pick it up at the end of the school day for about a week. If we get a third infraction in that, same process, except it goes the entire semester. And so by the fourth time, we're really having a conversation with that family and student to make sure that we're on the same page about cell phone use.
All right.
So if I can sum it up, don't use your phone at school. If you think you need to, always get permission. And now for a few of our more serious issues, let's throw it to our field correspondent, Mr. Can.
All right, everybody, listen up. I got a couple of reminders for everybody. People coming back should already know this, but new students, obviously, this should go without saying, absolutely no drugs, no alcohol, no tobacco, no nicotine pouches are allowed on campus. That means in your car as well. Remember, no vape pens, stuff like that you're not allowed to have. They can't be on campus, period, so don't even put them in your car and leave them in the parking lot. Absolutely no weapons on campus. That is even things that might look like a weapon. Any threats or violence or harm to anybody on this campus at any time will be taken seriously. Also, be where you are supposed to be. If you leave class to use a restroom, that doesn't mean you have the freedom to go to another person's class and check on your friend or go sit with the teacher that you like. You need to be where you're supposed to be at all times, please. Harassment, bullying, things of that nature is simply not tolerated here at Push Ridge, okay? We have a couple of ways that you can report problems that you are having. The best way is to actually go to a trusted staff member or faculty, teacher, and report your incident, report what's happening to you. If you are uncomfortable with that, we do have an anonymous reporting system known as Bestie, where you can just scan a QR code. It pulls up a nice little form for you. If you're going to make a Bestie report on somebody, be as specific as possible. What was said, when it was said, who heard it. This is the last thing. Driving on campus, and this is for everybody, not just students. Okay? Speed limit's 15 miles an hour on campus. Okay? Please drive reasonably. Obey all the traffic control signs, especially stop signs and one-way signs, stuff like that. Obey the people that are out there directing traffic. Please don't get in an argument with people if they ask you to move to a different spot. Please just cheerfully do that. Students, please park in your approved parking lots. Thank you. I'll see you in the fall.
Thanks, Mr. Can. Now, lastly, let's talk about academic integrity. Cheating in any form, it's not going to be tolerated.
Absolutely. Now, remember, academic dishonesty includes communicating with other students during quizzes or tests, any form of plagiarism, copying someone else's work, even homework. Giving your homework to somebody, that's also an infraction of academic integrity. Submitting the same assignment twice to two different teachers, also not permissible. And certainly, using AI to help you with any of your work.
Now, what are the refs going to do if players violate these regulations?
It won't end well, that's for sure. The consequences for academic dishonesty do not reset. After the first offense, the teacher's going to contact the student parents, the student will receive a 0 on that assignment, and get a 4-hour detention after school. After the second offense, the same punishments will apply, but if the cheating is on the same subject as the first, the student will fail the class for the semester and possibly be suspended from school. 3 infractions of academic integrity may result in expulsion of the student.
Well, we are out of time for today. Mr. Rakes, Mr. Abrams, thank you so much. What do you got as we send him out the door?
Big thing to remember, no community can function without rules, and this has been a quick overview of some of ours, and we're hopeful for the year to come.
Yeah, we want to be clear about expectations so that students can be self-disciplined. Look, govern yourself or be governed by others. Let's have a great year, Lions.